very good morning to you. How are you doing? Welcome to the Financial Clinic on Jam 316 on Family TV and Family Radio. It's another beautiful Wednesday the Lord has given us to be able to talk issues finance. Kama kawaida, bench nimeweka hapo nje. Tumesanitize. Msisukumane. Social distancing is very important. Last week, we had a very interesting conversation that we didn't finish, and we want to pick up from where we left off last week. Family businesses. Family businesses are very interesting. One of the things I've always wondered about is sometimes when I look at family businesses, especially in the Western world, you see companies that were established in 1854, companies that were established in 1900, and one generation after another, the family businesses have grown into very big organizations. When I look back home, sometimes even just sustaining a business through 2 generations is a headache. Sometimes the founder of the business, let's say the dad, passes on and the children squander everything, or they start fighting over this business and the business doesn't grow. So we are looking at the do's and the don'ts of family businesses. And I want to invite you to be a part of this conversation. If you have questions, throw them in on 20316. That's my SMS line. WhatsApp line is 0786 316 316. Or maybe you don't have a question, but you want to share your experience as a family of what you've gone through setting up a business. We would love to hear from you. You can also share on those numbers. We are continuing with the discussion we began last week, talking about the do's and the don'ts of family businesses. Family business, my friend. You guys have a family business. How are things working out for you? We would love to hear from you. SMS is on 20316. WhatsApp 0786 316 316. In studio with me today, I have a strategy consultant from Wild International. This is Benedict Karaoke. Benedict, asante sana.
Thank you very much, James.
Thank you for being with us again this week.
Thank you very much.
Family businesses. Last week we kicked off this conversation and we mentioned quite a number of things, but just to rope in last week and tie it into this week, what are some of the main mistakes we looked at last week that people make when they're setting up family businesses?
Okay, when you're bringing in family members who will become employees, have them write down their personal visions.
That one I thought was really interesting. I've never thought of that one before.
Like they need to write down their family visions, like their personal visions, and they should be materialistic. What roles they want to play? Will they be full-time? What time they will be putting in there? And also the emotional rewards. And then now the leader of the family business presents the vision of the company and try and creates an alignment, but also the size of your vision, you as the family member joining in, it tells you how much you need to work. If you want to stay in a 20 million Kenya shillings home, you want to drive a big car,
like one we were seeing over the internet this week.
Yes. It means that you have to first of all is you have to work harder and make your company bigger. It will not just be given, be given. This one now tells, once people have set down their personal visions and the family business leader is able to bring in the vision together, it tells people the amount of work they need to put in. And sometimes it also tells you when you can expect to start reaping this material reward. It's not like you learned now, 6 months from now, I'm driving a big car, I've got a big house. It is very good to be, this to be written down. And one of the things you'll discover from last week and even will mention is have these things written down. Not to be assumed or I said, have them written down. That is something which I'll keep on insisting everywhere. Like have this written down. The differences, as you are mentioning about Western businesses in the Western world and here is, these things are written down. They are debated over a family meeting. Like this is somebody's vision. This is the company's vision. How are we going to do? Even when you are, even during the end of the year, the end of the year is when you're having your family meeting, which is sometimes can be a family meeting business. People are able to express like how far am I going, and you'll experience is actually the period after Christmas. That time a lot of hotels are usually booked by family business members. They meet, they talk, like this is what we are doing, what people are doing in school, but now they also bring in the agenda of the business. Where is it going? It's an open discussion and it's not assumed by either the family business leader or the family employees. So that's one of the things we spoke about last week.
I think that's very important and very key, because sometimes I look and I think that it seems like the family businesses that get it men, they grow to, I mean, to heights you would never even think possible. You know, you have families that are even now loaning governments money because they've built such an empire as a family, but it's because this kind of things that you're talking about was set in place from the beginning. Maybe something you need to talk about as well before we talk about the culture is the whole aspect of the balance between the family members as employees vis-a-vis other employees, because that's one of the areas that brings in a lot of conflict. It always seems like this person alipewa tu kazi because they carry the name of the family, they have to be here, but they're really not worth their salt.
Okay, that one can be addressed by the second policy which you discussed last week.
Yes.
Do you have a policy where how do you hire? How do you hire your family member employee? How do you fire them? And how do you return them back if they want to come back in the business? Do you have that policy written down? And it should be done by family members, and then balance that with the company policy of also how you hire. Like, is there a minimum education level somebody should have? Is there external experience, work experience they should have? Have it written down. And once you've written this down, you will balance. If somebody was coming from this position and it was not your family member, what are the qualifications? Ensure your family members at least meet the minimum, so that when they are brought in, the other employees who are not family members, they'll also like this person was qualified. Because what happens in most businesses when you are brought in, it usually looks as a family member, it usually looks as if you've been given.
Yes.
You are royalty, so this has been given.
Whether you're qualified or not, it always looks that way.
It looks like that. But once you've got these policies, and other employees who are not family members get to see these policies working. This person came, was interviewed, was assessed, is even in training, is even being done induction, even if we've been seeing him coming to say hi to dad, is being taken around the campus. It's so like, okay, he's a family member, but he's coming in formally as an employee just as like us. So having these policies and implementing them, and during the time when I'll be speaking about culture, is you can have these policies, but if you don't implement them, and culture is 100% people see you're implementing. James is James, you are kind to me. That is a culture. You can speak like we should be kind, but if you are rude to me sometimes, I see like maybe it's not important, it's written, but not important. Culture is what people see you doing. You come to job early.
Yes.
That sends a statement if you are the CEO. Like earliness is respected.
You know, I think I read somewhere, I either read somewhere or I was watching somebody's story. This businessman was saying anytime before they bring in any of their children into the business, they have them work for a friend of theirs. They send them to a friend of theirs. Even if I will pay your salary, I agree with my friend. It's like now me and you. I say, you know what? Kijana wangu amemaliza shule. Yeah? And I want him to work for you for a year. I'll be paying his salary. He doesn't need to know, but I'm paying his salary. And he was saying he does that to help his children develop discipline and seriousness and a work ethic before he brings them into the family business. I don't know what you think of that.
Actually, that is a very good way, because that is one way of assessing and you're removing the bias element. Because the children will know, like, this is not my parent, so here I'll need to toe the line.
Yes.
So that is a very good way of actually assessing and building that competency, that culture, that work ethic before they come. It's actually a very commendable way. And the goodness about that example is this person was very, he had a vision of seeing like it might not happen very well inside the company, because as much as he might want it to happen, they might be given leeway by other employees and everything. So it's better they go to another business where that leeway is not given, and they'll be treated like a normal employee. And actually when they step there, they know like, I am an employee, and I'm an employee.
Wow. Let's get into culture.
Yes.
And the importance of that, where setting up a successful family business is concerned. First of all, when we talk about culture, what exactly are we talking about?
Culture is actually people seeing there are things you set up in companies, like you set up like the policies of how you hire, how you hire. There are policies of how you compensate. Remember now you are compensating family members who are employees, and also non-family members who are employees.
Yes.
culture is about implementing these things and actually explaining them to both parties. If somebody is not, like when you pay somebody a salary, whether it's a family member or an employee, you explain this as a business leader. This is how I came to this computation of your salary. This is not assumed. I cannot tell you like here is your ball figure amount, take it or leave it. No, I'll explain. This is how it works. This is what you're bringing into the company. If there are issues, if somebody is raising an issue, hear them. That is actually a bigger part, is communicating and people getting to know exactly how you arrived in that decision, and then that decision being consistent such that people will know like the process which they were explained for, it is standard for everybody. That's how you start establishing a culture. The other thing is things which happen at home. Like one of the things which I usually recommend is, if you start a business and even your children are young and they are in school, start talking about your business to them. Even if they are in primary school, study 1, 2, 3 there, explain to them, I go to work, this is what I do. I buy a widget like this one, it is 400 shillings, and I come, I pack it or I brand it and I sell it at 800 shillings. That's how I make my money. My money. When I sell all this, I'm able to earn all this money. This is the money which I pay for this house we stay. I pay for your school fees. A lot of parents don't explain to their children what they do. Actually, you come to discover when they were in high school or in university. University. That's why sometimes when you borrow your parent money, they are usually broke, because they've never explained what they actually do. Start at home, they explain. That's how you're actually inducting your children to know what they do into the business.
I love what you're saying, because I've seen this especially with the Asian community. And I've always wondered why we don't do it. Why we are so secretive where issues of business and money is concerned with our own families. I remember when I was in high school, I had some Asians who were part of my class. And you know, after school, they would go to their father's business. Just the other day, I went to town to get some spare parts. Saturday morning. And I get to the shop and I see the lady owner of the business with her son. He's probably about 7. He's counting coins. They're counting money together, and she's instructing him. Okay, write it here. Okay, add this to calculate and you here. Okay, this one, put it here. And I'm thinking, why is it we? When I say we, I mean Sisi wa Africa, black skin, especially in Kenya. A good number, maybe I may be wrong, but I tend to see like a lot of us don't like inducting our children or even letting our children know the business we do and how it functions.
I think it's something which, people are trying to improve, but we need to do it further. And this one extends even out of family business. Even if you are employed, do your children know what you do? Have you ever explained to them and explained, like you, James, you are a radio TV presenter. Explain to them, even one day take them here, tell them this is what I do, this is how I do things, so that they can be able to explain. I usually say, like, if your children at standard 3 cannot explain to other children what their father does, they just say he goes to work and comes back in the evening. That is not should be the explanation. There should be that explanation. The other thing is, we should know, schools educate about business. They'll educate a child about profit and loss, how we make margins, but the best teacher is in the family. When you talk about margin, like when I buy this gadget at 400 and sell it at 800 and I make a margin of 400, they'll remember that. Because you showed them the gadgets. Here the gadgets coming when they are delivered by the supplier, count them. Put them in, they'll see them, going to tell them, like you are telling me, count how much money, this is how we sell, this is the bargaining. When somebody buys a lot, this is the discount we give them. They get to learn these terms from you, the parent. They learn them back in school, but what they remember eventually is what you taught them, because schools sometimes don't have the practicabilities. It will usually come to the exam and a company XYZ does this, or Acme company does 1, 2, 3, but they remember what their parents did. That is a way of inducting them into business and also interesting them to business. They might not join, but they understand what you do. So when they decide to join the company, they are not foreigners, or they are struggling to learn this work culture, how it is, work ethic, what you're supposed to be given. They are already used to it. They are told, like, can you pack these boxes? When they are young, as they grow, they start taking other old. It's something which you can bring in your business, is have a timetable. Yes, your child will come to your business, and then much later they'll do the homework together. Together, you can actually be a way of improving even their performances, because you've seen there are children who are able to learn more with practicability.
Yes.
If they are learning like the arithmetic, multiplication, addition, subtraction, they're able to learn it from the concept of the business. Business is there. Teach them. Even if you are an employee, teach them like this is what you do. And there is no job which is complex to explain to a child.
Wow. Do you have any questions for us this morning? We are talking about how to build successful family businesses, the do's and don'ts of family businesses. Your experiences, we want to hear them. Your questions, we are here to answer them. SMS on 20316, WhatsApp on 0786 316 316. Financial Clinic is what we are on today. Every Wednesday we have the Financial Clinic. This week, part 2 of family businesses, the do's and the don'ts. I have a text message here that says succession planning is a life process that must be embraced in our families. That is so true. And even where family business are concerned, that is very paramount. And I think that's where many family businesses miss out on. So that when the founder of the business goes into eternity, the children are now fighting instead of working together to take this business to a whole new level. Well, we are getting into the second bit of this discussion this morning, and also reminding you, if you have any questions for us, 20316 is the SMS line. WhatsApp number 0786 316 316. I have Benedict Karaoke in studio, strategy consultant from Wild International. Back on the whole issue of culture, because I think that's such a foundational thing. And many times we miss out on it. Even just forget even about a family business, even just a working environment. Sometimes you get into a working environment and you're not oriented into the company culture, and because we are not deliberate about the company culture, everybody comes with their own culture, and it becomes very chaotic. So back to our kids and teaching them. Yes.
Okay. What happens in another way of defining culture is, and your home has got a culture, is if you are home, you arrive at 9 p.m. and your parents do not ask. That is explicit culture. You are not asked. That's how culture comes. Like, there is no vacuum, even if it is unmentioned. If your parent asks you after 7, where have you been? Children learn very quickly, like, this is culture. Yes. This is the culture of this place. Like, this is what happens. When visitors come, how do we welcome them? That's how we establish culture. That is an example of a family. And businesses need also to have a culture. How does a new employee come in? Is he recruited? There's a process of recruiting, there's a process of induction, and this one you've used the word deliberate. It must be deliberately done, no matter the familiarity of a family member. The family member can be coming there as a child, knows every place, knows where the store is, knows where they know how to drive and everything, but now they have to be inducted into the business. That is a culture. Like, they see, like, okay, I've been coming here as informally, but now I'm being brought in formally. This means things are formal. It also sends a message to the other employees who are not family members. This is the culture of this company. But also there's something somebody there mentioned about succession is, and I mentioned about personal vision. In that personal vision, can the family leader just tell the other family members, like, I am seeing myself retiring in 15, 20 years. In your vision, that one is, you have started the process of, they start knowing, like, in 20 years they can make mathematics clear, like 2040 this person will be retiring, 2035 this person will be retiring. Will we be ready? Then have a process of selecting the successor.
I think that's a huge problem, because I don't think many people do that. The succession bit where you say, you know what, guys, in the next 10 years I will no longer be leading this business. One of you will. No. We hold on to this thing until we die. That's just how the way it's just how a lot of things are done. I even see it in churches, where you hold on until you go to eternity. And so there's no succession plan. You didn't leave anything in place. So when you go, the ones who remain now start fighting for the helm of the organization.
Yes, and you've seen it in church. And one of the things is, when I say selecting a successor, is you can bring all your children, all of them. Tell them, like, I'm starting to select, and I'll take you through the grooming process so that you know. And they know, like, it's a process where you'll be training them, you'll be involving them in either development of the strategy, implementation of things into internal company discussions, and they'll get to know. And from there, you can assess who really gets it, who is more interested, or even what are the future roles they can be able to play. So there's a process of selecting, and then there's a whole process of grooming. How do you groom? And sometimes you can do both, and you still get none. Like none who is interested, or in the middle of it they discover, like, wait a minute, you've been doing retail and I want to go to serious heavy software coding business. Do not be alarmed. You can bring you can choose a successor as a family member to come in. Probably they may come in much later. Remember, the family business has got two relationships. There are people who work there as employees, but others can come in as shareholders. They don't work, but they own shares. They own shares. They own shares. They own shares. Again, and that is something also when now it comes to compensation. Remember, we had that compensation policy. The compensation policy should also state, like, how much the shareholders, family member shareholders, are being paid, and what the family member employees are being paid. Now, coming back again to the issue of culture, communication is the key. Remember, we usually say communication is 7% the content. The rest is facial expression and tone. And this one is very clear. It comes out a lot in families, because we can have this sibling rivalry. We can be like, we are two boys when we were young, we were fighting all the time. You can have things like those. And when it comes to business and you are trying to tell me something, I'm seeing in the perspective of how you grew up. You never listened to me because you are the elder one. Now, those things need to be handled very clearly in communication. In fact, you can find, like, in some places there's so much rivalry, like, people don't speak, they speak through the leader, either the mother or the father. Like, can you tell my brother to do this? It is in the department. They cannot just walk and go to their department and tell them, you need to deliver these things, or why is this thing running late? Those are red flags you should see as a family leader, a family business leader, like there is a problem of it. Then there is also the issue of now culture. Will your business, if you've got daughters, allow them to be successors? Some of them, some people are not comfortable. They are not comfortable with that aspect. What if they are the most competent or they are most interested? You should be open to this issue. And then there is an issue of when you bring spouses. Now, spouses is a big deal, because you need to explain what authority they play. Because your spouse can come there with the authority they come at home. What is yours is mine, and they can exercise that authorities on employees. Even they can come and say, I don't like this one, fire them or take this action.
That happens a lot.
You need, when you bring in your spouse, because this is a very important thing, like, you need now to have, when you bring in your spouse, what role are they going to play, and authority. What is their authority, and what are the limits?
I think that the whole issue of role is very important, and I'm just wondering, should that be made clear even to your employees, that my wife is coming into the business, she is the one in charge of accounts, and this and this and this. Anything to do with this, you deal with her.
That one can be communicated to the employees, but a lot of that preparation you have to do it with your wife. If, first of all, are you qualified handling this account? Yes, you are qualified. You've got the requirements. These are the authorities. This is what you can do. When there are issues here, you can address them. This is the process of how we address. If there's a shortfall of money or somebody cannot account, the company policies mention, like, you need to present evidence documentation within 3 days. 3 days. Speak from the policy perspective and not your own perspective, because employees will hear when you are speaking as Benedict or James. They'll see, like, this is not company, this is James exercising my authority here, because this is somebody's spouse. Somebody's spouse. But when you say our policy says you need to submit this evidence document, this financial transaction document within 3 days. It is the policy of the company. They'll see it is not you. They'll see the objectivity. If not, they'll just see you are subjective. You're being subjective with me. So a lot of preparation as you're bringing in your children, your family member, employees, and your spouse. And your spouse is treated differently because spouses come with assumed authority. Even when you hear a lot of cases, it's the issue of the authority. They come and they bring in authority. Sometimes even they force themselves into business. They force themselves to business when there is no rule, and they come and they find a peaceful place and they just
bring chaos
in the place. Can you formalize these things? Culture is about doing. Is it written? How do you bring them in? If there's no opportunity, tell them. There is no opportunity. I cannot afford, because you cannot bring in and then you bring in. They can come and get hard-working employees, and then they make them even go. You start losing your best talent because your family member, your spouse has come in. Have these policies written down and explain to them, and have a discussion with them at home. There's a discussion with your children, other relatives, but also with your spouse. This is how we run things. If you've got a conflict at home, solve it at home, because sometimes if it is not solved at home, it might run into business.
I think that's a tough one, and it's one that sometimes brings a lot of issues. I've been to my barber shop. At one time I was going to this barber shop, and the husband and wife were running the barber shop, and sometimes you would go there, and so the barber is working on my hair, and I'm feeling there's such a tension. I'm, hey, kwani leo kuko aje? Nasema, hey, leo madhi amekam, leo moto imewaka huku, sasa tunangojea aende, mzee akikam, mzee atatutuliza. It's almost like good cop, bad cop, you know. And I kept wondering, is that good for the business? It always seems like mmoja ni wa kuwasha moto, mwingine ni wa kupoesha. It almost seems like they are never in agreement. So even when they appear, they don't deal with the employees as a unit. Mama ana deal na employees kivyake, mzee anakuja anapoesha moto. Is that something good?
It is not something good, and I'll give an example of, and this you've seen it in people who have parents, they know, like the children are very good to know which parent is lenient.
Yes.
And one parent will institute this and they run to the other. If you are not united, is they'll take advantage of those loopholes. Same things can happen in the workplace. In the workplace, can you standardize things? And also, when you're coming into business, remember, if it is your spouse or your children, you know, you've got a perspective of how they are, their temperament, and everything. If you see your wife, like, you conflict in a lot of things, especially, like, let's say money, you need to ask yourself, if I bring them into business, how will it will not change? People assume like it will change. They come with all those temperaments. If they don't, if they think like you're a little bit lags with money, they'll think like they'll come with the same attitude. So you, when you are bringing them in, you need to know, like, this is their temperament towards certain issue. If your spouse is the kind of jealous spouse who feel like
that's the other thing.
feel like not comfortable where we are in other, an employee can just come and just wants an explanation. But if they are insecure, you as a family leader, family business leader, bringing your spouse, you need to know these things, and you need to know they have consequences. They cannot be ignored. Also, it plays around. If your dad is a bully, or your family member is a bully or a tyrant, remember, you're going to work and it's not going to change in the workplace. You need to be ready. Those are the cons of working in a family business. But you should call them a pro, because you know, and you can choose. I don't want to work in this family business because I know my dad will never listen, or my dad rarely trusts me. Probably when I was in high school, I lost some school fees. And from that day, he reminds relatives in every family occasion. It is reminded, until even when you are an adult, it is an issue which comes up. Is that tells you like an element of trust is not there, and it doesn't change in the family. If you are bringing somebody and you had that sort of relationship, can you first of all reconcile? Say this is what happened, it was a mistake, and we need to move on from it. Every time you bring it up, I see like you don't trust me. I've learned from that situation, I've taken fault for it. Can you solve this issue?
Okay. I'm just wondering, is it also important to make clear, because if I'm setting up a family business and my intention and my plan is that my children will take over this business and take it to the next level, so my children have got favor. Really, they have. There's no way they'll be like the other employees. And sometimes I'll cut them some slack because I want them to really carry this thing. I'll be lenient with them. I'll give them more opportunities. And to the other employees, it seems fair, but that's just the truth. It's unfair. They are the children of the owner of the business, and they will take over the business. If you're feeling it's unfair,
okay, that one now, that is an issue which is there. And again, do you have a policy? Do you have a policy which looks at recruiting, retaining, and inspiring non-family members who are employees?
Okay.
If you have that running, properly, and interact now with the one which you bring in your family members, it can be balanced out. There are some things you can say, okay, I know you need training to do this, but we shall pay you at the rate which we pay for the other employees. If you need to top up from your own salaries, such that try as much as possible you remove those, because you can have a star non-family employee who delivers, and then you've got a family member employee who is not able to match that. It is seen by the numbers. What are you going to do? As much as you need favor, you can. You need to balance this out. Remember, your culture is being seen by everyone. Your family members who are employees, but also employees. And one thing about culture, it can never be hidden. Just as I told you, like, if the owner of the house complains, people are coming and asks you, where have you been after 7 p.m.? That applies to everyone, even those who come early. It implies like, should I come later? I'll be asked these consequences. So it doesn't befall on the one who came late. So you need to have these things, and you need to have this policy. Like, how do you inspire, especially non-family members who are not employees? Because you need to have this. You need to have these policies. How do you inspire them? How do you groom them? And even what relationship will they have if your children or other family members are going to report to them? If your spouse is going to report to them, what is the relationship? When you tell your wife or your husband, you need to go to report this to the marketing, is going to give you KPIs. You need to prepare them as a business leader. You need to tell them this person, and also speak to the employees like, this is my wife, but this is a business. This is what you are trying. This is what you want to achieve as a company. Remember, I told you, like, the company vision and personal vision. Vision. Just as you say, share your company vision and you hear employees' vision, you've been sharing with the company. Bring all these matters to the table, but please implement. One of the things is we leave a lot of things to assumptions. When I die, people will distribute my company. People will see it is important to run businesses. No. Let them see. If you own houses, rentals somewhere, start taking your son to meet the owners of the houses, to start taking care of the premises. Even start with the role like, I'm giving you, your first role is to get the complaints and be addressing them. You are not the one who is going to be collecting rent. That one is another person. You just want to hear, like, somebody has been saying you're having plumbing problems, so that they understand the issues which deal there, and they do not start from the other end, like they are just come and collect rent. We've seen issues where this month somebody different appears, then another person appears to collect rent. No, we paid to these other family members. That shows like there's a form of inconsistency. Things are not formalized, and things are just left for themselves to whoever reaches there first. Can you have things formalization? Formalization is the one which we've not actually implemented in your family business, and it's something we can start to bring it up. And it's something even, and you don't need to have a family business. It's just when you have your family meeting. Do you have dinner together? Do you ask children, what did you do to school today? Yes. All of them, when they are there together, the youngest one will say, today we sang and everything and all of that. This is what happened in school. We don't, that culture, we are losing it. And that's where now you start creating your family business. Yes. The foundations, because people know you have to share, this is what happened, and people grow up. And when they get to business, it's difficult. You can imagine where people don't even share a meal together, trying to bring them into business.
Yeah, that's a whole new ballgame. Do you have any questions for us? We have a couple of more minutes to go. It's about 17 minutes before we get to 9 o'clock. Remember, we are talking about the do's and don'ts of family businesses. SMS is 20316, WhatsApp 0786 316 316. Financial Clinic, family businesses, do's and don'ts. In studio with me, strategy consultant from Wild International. This is Benedict Karaoke. Thank you so much for tuning in. And your good friend has sent an SMS. They say, I love the show as always. Say hi to my old schoolmate, Buana Karis. This is Benson Ngingo.
Thank you very much, Benson.
Okay, as we wrap up, because I think we have like 6-7 minutes, I think this whole aspect of culture is very wide, and it's very, very foundational and very important. There's something you were mentioning about the book of Job as we were listening to that song.
Yes, and in the book of Job, you see in the beginning we are told like Job and his children used to have parties. These were not parties. These were meetings to run their business. The book might display them as they were having party. You can imagine you cannot party every day.
Yes.
Parties, in fact, parties are good when you stagger them in a long time.
Yeah.
But the way they are mentioned in the book of Jobs, these were not parties. These were actually planning about business together with their children. Job did not assume the children, but actually brought them into the involvement of business as well as their faith matters. That is what those parties were. That can be a good introduction of how to run business. Just that the beginning before the calamities come in. It is a good example of how Job involved his children in business. So those parties they were written as parties, but those were actually family business meetings to plan. People are bringing in their vision. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to grow my business, and they could listen to them. To the extent even you are told in the Bible, like he used even to pray to God, like if they've done anything wrong, he used to pray on their behalf, like for forgiveness for them. That is a simple involvement coming from the Bible. Yes.
Wow. So as we wrap up, maybe some final thoughts on just this whole discussion.
One of the things is we've talked about policies to recruit people, having a policy, having people rating their personal visions and then bringing the company vision. Can you start by just writing this down, having a discussion, and then revisiting these things again and again? Do not have policies which you don't implement. That again sets the tone for the culture. And we've been seeing in the Kenya politics what is happening. We've got a law, when it is not followed, it tells people it is there to be assumed. So have these policies written down, revise them as changes occur. Sometimes changes happen. Either children, they want to be involved in the business, or at a certain time they want to go and start their own venture. Change. And remember, you've got an audience of family members who are employees and also non-family members who are employees. Do you have a policies of how you inspire them, especially because sometimes they are forgotten, and you cannot be seen favoring one over the other, especially the favor usually comes to family members. Can you have? And then culture is what the family business leaders do, the family employees do. That one dictate the culture of a company. Even if you've not written down, you just see this is how
things are done here.
This is how things are done. If it is done in Kienyeji, people come late for meetings. If somebody is excused, is like, oh, this company has got an excuse for culture. So that is the culture of the company. It is about, and the culture is about leader. The
leader sets the culture.
Leader is the culture of anything.
That's very important.
And if everything is set for them, employees know when they are on the right or wrong, when they are following, they are towing in the culture or not. It is evident. They don't come to be surprised you've not been doing or you've noticed. They'll know. Simple thing. If you come to job early as the business leader, and they come late, it will be evident.
Yes.
They'll not like say, why did you tell me? They'll be coming in, they come and see, our boss is there every day.
Yes.
I better take my punctuality seriously.
The way he does.
The way he does.
Yes.
Yes. So that is the thing which we like to bring in. And then there's a lot of literature, they are engaged. But one of the things is it's all about, you need to communicate, write these things down, implement, and family business is good. Actually, the biggest businesses in the world, you can see they are family.
The family business.
And that is an evidence they can succeed. They can succeed.
Yeah.
And not like their family members, employees, siblings. And then you'll start bringing in cousins.
Yes.
Tell your relatives, like, I've got a process how I employ people. Bring them for interviews. In fact, make sure in those interviews you are there as an observer. You bring in other people who are not, and they interview them. The only privilege now they'll have as family members, they might have more. You might now, if they did not perform well, they'll have that opportunity. Like, you'll go back to them and tell them, these are your areas which you need to work on to improve, or probably to be more detailed. And like the way you'll do it with non-family members who are looking to be, who are candidates, who probably did not perform well. That is a privilege, and that one comes with the family business. But do things in formal way, knowing like they are being seen, and then be consistent.
I love what you're saying, because I think one of the excuses we use sometimes, especially when we are in the beginning process, the whole Jua Kali mentality. I mean, go to Jua Kali. So because you're Jua Kali, you want to do everything kienyeji. You have no structures, you have no systems in place, no processes. It's just one day at a time. And I think that even holds back quite a number of businesses from blossoming and growing, because you really have no grip of what's happening in your business. So I think that's very key. Parting shot, I'll have to ambia watu kwa heri.
My parting shot is like, a family business does not need to be big. To be big.
Yes.
I know of a guy in Mbotela who his father used to work in fiberglass. And fiberglass, making those things, mixing those chemicals. And the dad trained the son to do the same, and the son picked it up. I know that young man, he bought a house there in Mbotela, and is raising his family, and has got very good things he does. He's the one who makes a lot of parts, even dashboards for vehicles using that fiberglass.
Yes.
That is a family business, and it is seen as Jua Kali, but it is in the vocation skill sector. It is hand.
Yeah.
That is a small family business. It doesn't need to be big like the Chadarians. That is a starting point.
That's a starting point, yeah.
Starting point. So family business can succeed, and actually it should be the one which will be even succeeding better than these other businesses, because if there is no agreement at home, and you remember you are told like the family is the unit of the society, then where else can we expect to
yeah, very true. Wow, thank you so much for coming through for us today. I hope that information has been beneficial to you in case you are setting up a family business or you have a family business that's already running. I hope our tips today will help you get onto the next level. Reminding you, Eden Tea is truly the finest garden tea. If you've not tried out Eden Tea, try it out this week. Available at all leading supermarkets at affordable prices. And Eden Tea is reminding us in this season not to forget that together we can stop the spread of the coronavirus. Wash your hands with soap and running water. Put on a face mask when you go out into the public spaces. Also remember to maintain physical distancing as you interact with other people. Avoid touching your nose, your eyes, your mouth. Let's work together to help stop the spread of coronavirus. If you can work from home, work from home. And remember, as you work from home, at home, anytime is tea time with Eden Tea, the finest garden tea.
For this and more of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs, from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.